Okay, so before you ask, no, I'm not on drugs, and I wasn't sleep deprived. This actually happened, and I still don't know what to make of it. But trust me, I wish I could forget it. So it all started about 2 years ago. I was visiting my aunt and uncle's house in the middle of nowhere. I'm talking about a tiny old cottage out in the woods, maybe an hour from the nearest town. You know, one of those places where you're so far off the beaten path that your phone just stops working. It was just supposed to be a weekend getaway. No big deal, right? They were like, come on over, get away from the city for a bit. We'll grill some food, relax by the fire. You can take a walk in the woods. You know, typical rural escape stuff. I arrived there on a Friday evening, right as the sun was starting to dip behind the trees. My aunt was busy in the kitchen, cooking something that smelled amazing, and my uncle was tinkering with his old truck in the driveway. I was alone in the house for a few minutes, just settling in, when I noticed something odd. There was this old wooden door behind a bookshelf in the living room. I mean, I'd been to their house a few times before, but I never noticed it. I asked my aunt about it later that night, and she just brushed it off like it wasn't anything. Oh, that old thing? It's just a door to the cellar, nothing special. I turned around, expecting to see maybe my aunt or uncle. Maybe one of them was awake and moving around. But no, nothing. Just the dark silence of the house. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right, so I decided to get up and grab a glass of water. As I walked down the hallway to the kitchen, I noticed that the door behind the bookshelf was slightly ajar. And I swear, I didn't leave it like that. I was 100% sure it was closed when I went to bed. I woke up, sat up in bed, and listened. The footsteps stopped, and then the door behind the bookshelf creaked open. I swear to you, it sounded like a slow, deliberate movement. I jumped out of bed, grabbed a flashlight from the side table, and tiptoed into the hallway. I stood there for a minute, just listening, heart pounding in my chest. I felt like a complete idiot for even considering checking it out. But my curiosity won. I had to see what was behind that door. When I pushed the bookshelf aside, I was met with the absolute last thing I expected to find. There was no cellar. That's when I heard it. A whisper. So quiet, I almost didn't catch it. It wasn't a voice I recognized. It was just breathing. Low, raspy, like someone trying to whisper through their teeth. I backed up, slammed the door shut, and shoved the bookshelf back into place. I didn't sleep a wink that night. The next morning I tried to act normal, but something was off. My aunt and uncle were acting a little weird. They didn't mention anything, but I could tell they knew something had happened. I asked my aunt about the door again, and this time, she looked at me differently, like she was trying to decide whether to say something or not. That night, I went outside for a walk to clear my head. When I came back, I swear, I saw something standing by the window in that room. A figure, just staring out into the yard. It was only for a second, but it was enough to freeze me in my tracks. I left the next morning, and to this day, I haven't gone back. I don't know what was in that room or why it felt so wrong. But I can tell you one thing. There was something in there that didn't want to be found, and I'm pretty sure it's still there. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and put notifications on so you don't miss any horror stories. Stay tuned.